What a full circle moment that I am interviewing you. Who would have ever thought?
And I'm so happy and honored to be your first guest. You should still have passion in what you want to do, but you got to make money. Passion is not the only thing, but you got to like going to work. And if you're changing what you're doing because you don't like it, then you have to decide what is it that you want to do. It's not always going to be puppies and flowers every day. We all can do the list of what we don't like. But when you say, I'm not going to like that, you don't know that yet. Have you tried it? Especially if you have not tried it. So open your mind up a little bit. Make a good decision. Make the decision. Be all in. If it doesn't work, always have another job to go to. Aly, this is like you and I having breakfast.
This is exactly what I wanted. Yes. Look at all the things we talked about today. Stevie Nicks, Beyoncé, breakfast meetings, check-ins, all those things.
I love it.
This is where creativity gets lit. I'm talking bold pivots, design funks, and those tiny rituals that keep us grounded. I'm interior designer and creative director Aly Velji, and on AVD INSPIRE, I sit down with artists, makers, and icons for the real conversations behind the work. Let's talk icons. For decades, Marilyn Denis helped us start our days with intention, with heart, and with a bit of sparkle. She's not just a media legend, but she's made us feel like we mattered. And today, I get to chat with her as a friend. We're going to be talking legacy, letting go, and what it really takes to stay true to yourself when the cameras stop rolling. This one means absolutely everything to me. I first met Marilyn when I was doing Style Guys Friday alongside my husband, Jason, on Virgin Radio. Her son was the morning show host, and she personally contacted me and asked if I would do a surprise makeover on his condo while she was here filming. A dream come true. The moment I met Marilyn, she made me feel so at home and like I was family. And for that, I will forever be grateful.
Sweetie, you're making me cry.
Marilyn Denis is a trailblazer and has made historic strides for women in the Canadian broadcast industry. She co-hosted Chum FM's iconic Roger, Rick, and Marilyn show while simultaneously hosting a national daily lifestyle TV show. While she left her television career on a high note, and I remember I was there during one of her last episodes, her 49-year extensive radio career continues with the Marilyn Denis Show on Toronto radio station Chum 104.5 iHeartRadio. Her long list of accolades includes 3 Geminis, the Rosalie Award, the Alan Waters Broadcast Lifetime Achievement Awards, and so much more. A true Canadian icon that has changed the lives of so many, including my own. My very first guest on AVD INSPIRE, the wonderful Marilyn Denis. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And I so appreciate all those kind words. And I'm so happy and honored to be your first guest.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, the pleasure is all mine. And I just can't even believe that you're here. What a full circle moment that I am interviewing you. Who would have ever thought?
You're so sweet. No, these are great memories to have that you and I hold so dear.
It's so nice to see you. And I want to start off by maybe talking about our Calgary connection, because I feel like that's sort of how we came together.
How about that? And I'm kind of smiling too, because I'm in one of our radio studios, and I'm looking at your beautiful space, and this is what I have to deal with now. There's no beauty except for the pink mic sock. But it's so good to see you, Aly. It really is. So Adam was working at Virgin Radio at the time in Calgary, and he said, "Mom, I think you and Jason were on Virgin as Style Guys."
Yes.
And he said, "Mom, I think there's a guy that's a great stylist for you, because you're a national show that as an interior designer from Calgary." And I said, "Okay, I'll watch, because I can watch that on the Bell screen. I can see what's happening on City TV, CTV, and whatever." So I saw you on one of the shows on one of our competitors. I went, there you go. That's a good one. So I told the producers in Toronto, I said, we have to get this guy on the show. And so they worked their magic, as they did. But prior to that, I knew that Adam had been out there, and he was living in this condo with a very funny friend of his. And I had walked in there and went, wow, this needs help. And I didn't care how long it was going to be. I just wanted him to feel like at home, because, he had dealt with, at the time, my father had just passed away. And I wanted him to feel at home in Calgary. And he's my one and only son. And I said, I want to do this before and after. And so that's how that happened. And when you work with a designer, you get to know them very, very well, as I did with you and Jason, of course. And Adam was the big, he was really the point person to get us together. So that turned out great. And then when he decided he was moving back to Toronto, I went, but the place is so nice.
That condo was pretty epic. I mean, it was beautiful.
Oh, it was great. Where was that? No, what building was that? It was on 10th Avenue Southwest. It was
Yeah, so it was a
the old tobacco building.
That's correct. Yeah, so it was a beautiful brick loft. It was like you don't get many of those in Calgary. So when I first walked into that space, I was like, wowzers, like what a gorgeous, stunning space.
And that is the first time I saw and still in love with, probably it's dated now, but the birch tree wallpaper.
Wallpaper, yeah.
I said, what is this? This is the best. So it was, yeah, it's that kind of industrial, kind of rough edge kind of thing. And you're right. It's very unusual in Calgary because Calgary is a pretty new city.
Absolutely, it is. Back in 2003, I enrolled in the very first interior decorating program at Bow Valley College. That lit the spark for everything that I do today. And fun fact, my mom's also a Bow Valley alumnus. And now they're celebrating 60 years and launching the City Maker campaign in September. That's $1 million to create 200 scholarships at $5,000 each, removing financial roadblocks for deserving students. I'm 100% in, and I'd love for you to join me. Just head over to inspire.bowvalleycollege.ca/city-maker for more information. My podcast is called AVD INSPIRE, and I want to definitely talk to people that inspire me, but also talk about their journey. Was there a moment where you were just like, I haven't really checked in with myself. I'm just doing all this stuff for other people, but not myself?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. When you're building a career, you just keep going and doing and performing. And can you do the opening of this thing and you go as a broadcaster because you want to get your name known? You do freelance here, freelance there. Oh, and you get married and you have a baby and you keep going and whatever. And then the marriage doesn't work out. And you're going, oh, the marriage didn't work out. And that's when I thought, I need to see somebody.
Yeah.
But both Adam's father and I went to see the same person, not to see if we could keep it together. It's just to how are we going to raise this kid? And after we split, I still continued to see this person, which to me is checking in.
Mhm.
And Grace was outstanding. And then I felt a little bit more equipped for handling life stuff,
Mhm.
being a single mom and what have you. And I dated throughout that time too. I was not like totally alone. But what I did learn was I felt that I had to have another person in my life to create a family
Mhm.
until I met Joe Rich. And he said to me, who's been a guest on the Marilyn Denis show and still is on Chum 1045, is that you kind of are, when you are a single parent, you are kind of the mother and the father
Mhm.
at that moment, even though he's got a dad. And he said, you're fine on your own. And that was another point of checking in and feeling like, yeah, okay, because there are these traditions that we all have been brought up with, no matter
Mhm.
what our backgrounds are. And we've had to break a couple of those things down and to say, okay, this is the new normal and it works for me and for my son. So checking in, I still check
Mhm.
in because Joe and I still have lunch, but it's still a therapy session.
Yeah.
Because I need to check in with somebody to say, I'm feeling like this. How do I deal with this? Or just, we really are good friends, but it's just checking in. So I love therapy. I recommend it to anybody who
Mhm.
feels a little lost. It's not about having a bad partner or whatever. It could be that, but it could be, why am I making the same choices and I'm not getting a different outcome, which is chaos, as you know. So why
Yeah.
not talk to somebody and they will get you to that point. But I want to say this, Aly, when you do visit somebody, you may not hit it off the, right away with the
Mhm.
therapist. You are the consumer. So if you
Correct.
don't like their vibe, you go and look for another therapist. Not that
Yes,
they're going to agree with you, but you've got to look forward to going to these meetings and you've got to
absolutely.
be happy when you leave going, I feel like I have so much more knowledge. You agree?
I 100% agree. And I think there's so much stigma sometimes with going to see someone like a therapist to talk to. But for me, I think it's so important because it is someone that's sort of neutral that you can talk to about anything and they're not going to judge you.
And yeah, that's right. And so that when you don't have that space with them, you're able to apply the stuff that they taught you so
Mhm.
you can get to your own, conclusion on certain things. So yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's checking in. Also, there's madness too with all this because, when I started off in radio in 1976, it was just radio. We were hidden behind,
Yeah.
a window, looking
Hmm.
out at the time, the Palouse Empire and University of Idaho. Like it's trees and wheat fields. Now everything is now being seen. We're being seen right now. I do the Chum 1045 morning show with David Corey. We have to film a lot of things.
Hmm.
And so with that comes criticism. And if I had that criticism when I was a young broadcaster, I don't know that I would have dealt with it very well because I was too young and not well equipped. Now I think it's not that I don't care, but I know how to sift through those comments
Hmm.
because I've had a lot of experience and I've had a lot of guidance through a therapist. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I think, like you said, I think things have changed so much now for anybody that's in the creative field or in media or in radio, whatever it is. I think that, yeah, the criticism is there because you are just putting yourself out there in so many different platforms, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through Instagram or whatever it is. I think it's really important to have those check-ins. And I love that you call them check-ins because that's exactly what they are, and I think that's very, very important. When the final credits rolled on the Marilyn Denis show, what were you sort of left holding emotionally? I mean, was it sort of like freedom? Were you scared or were you just like, WTF, what just happened? How did you feel?
Well, I felt first of all it was my decision, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt my whole thing with CTD was like when I did City Line for 19 years and there was an 18-month break and they weren't sure if I was going to have my own show at CTV, and then of course that changed. And then those were the rough first 2 years, and we got the right producers and things started like really doing well, which I was really blessed because sometimes the second
Mm-hmm.
time it's like your second single may not be as good as your first.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Yeah.
And so while I was doing that, I thought, I'm going to give this. I would joke around. I would say, I'm only going to give it 10 years. Well, guess what happened? The pandemic happened.
Uh-huh.
And so we had to deal with that, as everybody did. They were remarkable, both radio and television. I used to do the radio show down in the basement of my house, and the TV show was, of course, as you know, in my
Mm-hmm.
living room. That's the
Mm-hmm.
most my living room has ever been used. It's since been not been used since that time. But when I looked at that last show, I knew I wanted everybody back from where it used to be. So no masks. Everyone's in the audience. I'm able to shake people's hands.
Mm-hmm.
People are cameramen are the masks are off. We're to where we were in March of 2020, right before everything closed down, and that's what I wanted, and that was coming up very close, and I made a decision that that's what I wanted to end it, and we all decided April was a good time to announce it, and then June 9th was the final show. Perfect. How did I feel that last show? Well, first of all, the last couple of weeks of shows, I said to them, surprise me with anything and everything.
Wow. Yeah.
They went above and beyond. Like the guy that who's still my best friend, who still lives in Moscow, Idaho, who got me into radio, all of a sudden those doors open, he walks through and we go, I didn't even know he had a passport. I didn't even know. But every episode was just so magical, and I wanted it to be as surprising to you
Mm-hmm.
as it was to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was enjoyable instead of all about Marilyn, Marilyn, Marilyn. I mean, I am leaving, but it was about the show and
Yeah.
the people that put the show together. So that last episode, Everly, my little girl at the time, my little granddaughter, 4 years old, so well behaved that day. She was like, I couldn't believe it. Adam was there. I got to interview him. Family was there. It was great. And when it was over, after Glass Tiger sang their wonderful song, when the confetti, because we're known for a show being a confetti-filled show,
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
it was done, I went, job well done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Job well done. What a great send off. It was not like I quit, I'm done with this. No, it was like it was completed for everyone. Everyone
Absolutely.
from the person who's the audio person to the floor director. So I felt good that everyone was taken care of because the staff took care of everyone. And
Yeah.
I also knew that I was going to continue on with radio. That was a
Mm-hmm.
surprise to me because when I made the decision, Chum said, and you're still going to work at Chum. And I thought, oh, I thought we just close everything down. They go, no, 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 we still want you to do the morning show. And I said, okay. So, which I love doing, as you know, I love radio. So I felt like I had another job. So anyone taking a risk, I would highly
Mm-hmm.
suggest you have somewhere else to go after you decide
Yeah.
you're going to leave one place to go to another. I highly
Okay.
suggest you have another job. And you say to the people that are employing you, I am leaving this job. I haven't told them yet because I'm really making a turn and I want to
Mm-hmm.
work and learn from you or whatever the situation might be.
Mm-hmm.
So how did I feel?
Mm-hmm.
I felt great. I felt we gave 13 great years. I felt like, this was a job well done by everyone, as I mentioned. And I felt relief because
Mm-hmm.
the schedule was getting a little bit tough. I get up at 3 in the
Yeah.
morning. I do the show from 5 to 9, go up to hair
Oh
and
my
makeup.
God.
And
Wow.
then sometimes, as sometimes the show would go over because of production glitches and stuff like that. So it was time. I could feel it in my body. And I felt like the pandemic set a tone. We got
Mm-hmm.
back into place.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone did a great job. Everyone was happy. It was a great send off. It'll never happen again like that, ever. It's
No.
so treasured.
I think that rather than feeling angst towards something and leaving on a note where you're just like, good riddance, I don't want to do that anymore, you sort of left on this incredible high note. And I remember I was there on one of the last episodes and the energy and just the emotion that was there, honestly, Marilyn, like you're so amazing. And it's like all because of you, because of your energy and what you put out there to not only the people that were like on the show, you made us feel so comfortable, but you just make everyone feel at home. And it's even to this day, I'm shopping at a grocery store or going to a home sense or whatever it is. There's people that still come up to me and be like, I miss Marilyn so much. And like it's crazy. Like you're amazing. You're fabulous.
Oh, it's crazy. Thank you for those are very nice words. I'm really glad. I will say this to you. After I stepped down and I started doing radio, I thought, I remember the first day going, okay, after the morning show, now what do you want to do? I guess I could go to the dry cleaners.
Yeah.
I guess I could go to the bakery.
That's right.
Like I was like, I've got all this time, and not until 2 years after the fact, which it is right now, do I have a somewhat normal schedule.
Wow.
Like, somebody said to me, whatever, it's like you are retiring
Yes.
in a sense. And someone said, if you work out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you did that when you did both shows, and this goes for anybody, and you step away from something, still keep those at the same time because you can build your day around that.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
That's
and
smart.
it works out beautiful because all of a sudden you've got this time.
Yes.
You want to have purpose, but you got to keep a sketch.
I love it. The sketch. I love it. Got to keep the sketch. You're listening to this episode because someone made way for you. That could have been a teacher, a mentor, even a moment. For me, that was Bow Valley College. And now they're paying it forward with the City Maker campaign, raising $1 million to help 200 future leaders rise with scholarships valued at $5,000 each. This will directly support designers, doers, and difference makers, people who will shape the best talent to lead our city. Together, let's inspire a better future. Head over to inspire.bowvalleycollege.ca/city-maker for more information. So what did you finally give yourself permission to do when you weren't grinding with waking up early and doing all this stuff and having to do 2 shows? What did you give yourself permission to do?
I gave my permission I said, okay, here's a good example of that. Well, you got to meet with people because, you haven't seen some friends for a while and that still goes on. And I started dialing down having dinners like during the week at 5:30. I can't do that anymore because I just can't do that. Fridays and Saturdays, you know that when you guys come to town.
Yes.
I can't do that.
Absolutely. We meet for happy
hour and then I'm gone.
That's
That's right. It's perfect. But I also learned that, people started reaching out to me, younger broadcasters and friends in general. And they said, I'd love to have lunch with you. And I said, let's have breakfast instead.
Oh.
And that's what I started doing. I started having it sporadic, but I go have breakfast. Like I had one with a former model on the show, and she's a chef, Camille Moore, the other day.
Okay.
And we had a great breakfast just to catch up.
Love it.
And that's how I kind of filled in that time.
Okay.
And you'd be amazed how much you can fill in your time
Yeah.
when you don't have another gig. It's like all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock. So, and also, Everly was very much a part. Family. Yeah. So we would have her every other week when she was in daycare. And then she's now in senior kindergarten. So she's she's got her own schedule now. So we were able to be there for her
That's
on that
lovely.
front too. If it was all good. Very good.
That
Yeah.
is awesome. I love that you said the breakfast moment too, because sometimes I feel like when people ask me to go for lunch or you have a lunch meeting, it's like in the middle of the day and it's like it sometimes causes just a strange break for me. And then I don't want to go back to work after. So it's like the breakfast meeting is perfect because it starts your day off right. And then you're like, okay, I'm ready to tackle the rest of the day.
And when everybody else is having lunch, you are on your way. You've got food in your gut, you got energy, and you're going to finish it off, and that's it.
Yes. I love it. You heard it here first. Okay. Marilyn said breakfast meetings are it. This is exactly what we need to start doing.
Yep. Or just meeting with friends. Just start doing breakfast. 9:30, 10 o'clock. I love it.
Yes. Gorgeous. I love it. So when you feel stuck, like really stuck, what do you do to sort of like shift your energy? Like if you're feeling a little low or whatever it is there some rituals that you do to sort of like get you back on track?
What I'll do is if I'm really stuck, I'll go, you're stuck because you're exhausted or you're tired. So go take a 20-minute nap
Okay.
if you can. You do that.
Oh my God. Gorgeous.
If I'm stuck or
Yes.
really I've worked through things, my mother would have told you this. Where's Marilyn? She's upstairs rearranging her drawers because when I rearrange things and reorganize things, I'm actually working through something because I can't sit on a couch and think about myself or the scenario.
Mhm.
I have to be proactive. So at least when I'm working through it, sometimes there's music on, sometimes there's not. The reason why there's not music on is because I am surrounded by music on the morning show and I'm thinking about the morning show. I'm
Right.
not thinking about what I have to think about. So things get organized and maybe a little ADHD could be, I don't know, but I'll tell you, I got some work done and I worked through whatever it was and my underwear drawer has never looked better.
Oh my God. Well, how about that?
See, I go, look at you thinking and working at the same time and working through that situation. That's what I do.
Oh, that's
I don't know where that
amazing.
came from. Yeah, I have to do that. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So you've interviewed thousands of people. Like, has there been one interview that you sort of look back at and you're just like, that was so good. That was something that maybe changed you, or was there anything like that? I mean, you're sure you've had so many.
There's been a lot, you know. I'll say in 2000, I used to do a show called Music Online via Chum, and we'd bring the person into the studio, and we would have an hour or an hour and a half with that person debuting their new album. And also, you know, when you're hearing the album on the radio, you'd have moments with this person while you're getting ready for the next segment.
Okay.
And this person was Stevie Nicks. And Stevie Nicks had an album called Shangri-La, and it wasn't doing very well. It had changed producers, and thank goodness Sheryl Crow came in and saved the day. And Stevie just had a lull in her career at the time. And so she came in, and we sat. We immediately liked each other. I don't think there's anyone that she doesn't like immediately, unless they're rude. And we were talking about all sorts of things. She explained the album. We play the cut, then we would talk about something else. And she was so enlightening and had been through so much in her personal life and was very open about it. And so that kind of changed my approach with just people. They're people, you know, they are people and they have ups and downs. And then she said to me, what's your favorite Fleetwood Mac song? And I said, well, geez, that's not, she said, get back to me at the end of the broadcast and just let me know what it is. And I said, I thought about it a lot. And I said, I like Landslide. She said, okay. So she wrote it down, Landslide and whatever. She keeps journals. And so that was it. She left. And by the way, when she was there, she got a phone call that she got a little bit Crazy in Love, Beyoncé. Yeah? They used at Edge of 17. She found out that her riff from Edge of 17, right? Right, just like a white winged dove, that was used in the Beyonce song. She goes, I just made some money because they just bought that thing. And I went, what?
Oh my
God. It
God.
happened right in the hallways of Chum. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, long story short, she's just amazing. So then we I go to her concert and I don't know how many months later, or maybe a year later. And then she had said, are you coming to the show? I said, yeah, I'm going to come to the show. thankfully she gave me tickets, even though I had some tickets. She said, no, give them to somebody else. Sit over here. And then long story short is she got on the stage. Fleetwood Mac was there. No Christine McVie at the time because they had separated. And she was there with Lindsey Buckingham. And she dedicated Landslide to me.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow.
I know. And I went, that's why you asked. That was so nice. So that was a game changer. And every time she's in town, they're very good about reaching out. And she gives me 10 minutes of her time afterwards. We're not close friends by any stretch, but there's a great respect we have for each other. That's one quick story. I've met a lot of great people. I have met a lot of great, like Jan Arden's a dear friend. She's real. Real is good. And then of late, a couple of years ago, it was Jane Fonda. And Jane Fonda came on the show, and I said, you don't have to answer any of my questions. She said, I'll answer anything that you want.
Yeah.
What a legend.
100%.
And so that too. And you learn a lot. She's very, when you hear Jane Fonda talk, no matter what your political sides or whatever, she tells you her truth. And I think that's what I'm drawn to. Jan are in the same way. Stevie Nicks the same way. They tell you the truth, and that's what I like. But I've met some wonderful people. I just had Dan Aykroyd on the Chum morning show the other day, and he's just so wonderful and full of great stories. Yeah. So those are bonus times for me.
I love
those
that.
Makes if I had a bad interview, it balances everything else out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's incredible. You've had such an incredible career and you've done so many things and interviewed so many people. I feel like you're a wealth of knowledge. And I think, anybody out there would be so honored to hear what your sort of advice is for people that are maybe stuck.
Well, businesses have changed so much. That the trajectory that I used to give advice is no longer applicable because things are contracting, as you know.
For sure.
Money is tight, that sort of thing. And my pal Roger Ashby, who's the co-host with him for 32 years, we used to say, we still do, you should still have passion in what you want to do, but you got to make money. Yeah. Passion is not the only thing, but you got to like going to work.
100%.
And if you're changing what you're doing because you don't like it, then you have to decide what is it that you want to do. It's not always going to be puppies and flowers every day. Yeah. We know that. You have to feed the family. We know that too. But you have to get out there and reach out to people about what the job is and what that entails. Yeah. And are you willing to do it? You don't have to be, it's not a lifetime. You don't have to do it for a lifetime, but you have to put the time in to make the decision of what you do like. We all can do the list of what we don't like. But when you say, I'm not going to like that, you 100%. Don't know that yet. Have you tried it? Especially if you have not tried it. It's like this.
Correct.
When you're dating, you're looking for that certain person. Just compare them to a pair of jeans. You look for that jeans, you're looking for those jeans, you can't find those jeans. And when you least expect it, you give up. And then those jeans appear. And guess what? They're on sale. That's even better. So open your mind up a little bit. And honestly, I know money is tight across the board. Make a good decision. Make the decision. Be all in. If it doesn't work, always have another job to go to, if that's the case.
Oh my goodness. Marilyn Denis, you are spectacular. Thank you today for your honesty, your love, your commitment, your everything that you do for so many people. First of all, and thank you for making the time for me today. And I really, really appreciate it. You're the best.
Oh my gosh. Aly, this is like you and I having breakfast.
This is exactly what I wanted. Yes. Look at all the things we talked about today. Stevie Nicks, Beyoncé, breakfast meetings, check-ins, all those things.
I love it. I'll see you when you come back in town, okay?
I cannot wait. Thank you. Love you.
Thanks, Aly. Love you back.
Yes. Oh my God, Marilyn, that was amazing. Yay! Wow. Marilyn Denis. Now that was an epic conversation and an epic start to my very first episode of AVD INSPIRE. That was truly a magical moment. I am never going to forget this. Thank you so much, Marilyn. Oh my goodness. What did we talk about? We talked about legacy. We talked about Stevie Nicks. We talked about how breakfast meetings are the new thing. I'm literally never planning any other meeting other than a breakfast meeting from now on. So thank you. And thank you also for just showing us that legacy is not about fame. It is about heart. You can follow Marilyn Denis at Marilyn Denis or at Chum1045 to listen to everything that she does and how epic she is. Thank you also to Bow Valley College for sponsoring this incredible episode, my very first episode. I couldn't be more appreciative. You can follow Bow Valley College at Bow Valley, or please, if you want to literally pay it forward, head over to inspire.bowvalleycollege.ca/city-maker so you can literally give to this incredible campaign that they're working on. And as always, thank you so much. Actually, you probably haven't been listening since this is my first podcast, but thank you for listening today. And I hope you continue to listen, to share, to like, to do all the things. And if you know somebody that needs a little inspiration, please share this podcast with them. And if you liked this podcast, please feel free to comment, tell me what you want to hear. Let's just make this an incredible community of gratefulness, of inspiration, and of love. Thank you so much. And until next time.